Hey guys, and welcome to a video that I'm super excited to be doing. Today I am doing a barn tour and I'm basically showing you where I keep everything, my horses' paddocks, our setup and everything. It is at my house. It is not at an adjustment because that costs a lot of money. So I hope you guys enjoy. On to the tour. Alrighty, so first we have my parents' house over there. And we actually call it the tree house. Can you guess why? And then we've got Le Dam. It has an island in the middle there. I'm gonna do some like super cool scenic shots of everything after I've shown you the first bit. And then I'll do the rest of the tour and then scenic shots of the rest of the place. But yeah, so that's the house. And you can like go down this road. My brother lives like at the bottom level. My mum and dad live at the top 2 levels. I could have got the bottom level, but I'm an idiot and I decided to live away from the horses while I was still going to uni, but now I'm not, and so it would have been good to live here, but it's fine. Here we have the horses. This is Jericho's paddock. As you can see, there's lots of trees. My horses really learn how to preserve themselves and not cut themselves up every day, because there's lots of trees and sticks and everything. It's funny, my physio said it's often the horses that have like perfect paddock that often are the ones that have really bad injuries, and I reckon that is right. So this stable slash shelter is by Horse Shelters Australia, and it's actually a friend of my sister's that owns the company, so we got them. We didn't get a discount or anything, but we got them. We love them. The only problem is they're only 3.6 by 3.6 meters, so I wish they were slightly bigger. We have a Jericho enjoying his hay. These fences are by Chris Ashton and I love them so much, and Dad treated them so they're gonna last like a million years. So now we go down the really dodgy slope, and this is why my horses all learn to go down hills really well, because slopes are very slopey here. So here we have prevention of Jericho getting out. So you can see the shelters on the inside. So this used to be the feed room, and then the other side was just the stable, but I decided to make them both stables. And I've never seen Jerry actually come in here by himself, but he obviously does because there's always manure in here, so I'm guessing he only does at night. We have this tree that I'm not really sure why it's still here, but Dad must have just decided to leave it in here. I feel like they would make really cool hunter looking poles to jump over, so like, can I get them please? We have this carpet that Mum got so he wouldn't have to eat off the dirt. He eats off the dirt anyway, and that just gets dirty in like 0.2 of a second. We have the most ugly mane ever because on the weekend I had Cacaldi horse trials, which he placed second in, but yeah, I just like cut the plaits off at the bottom, so it's super uneven and gross. And because there's Ranella this weekend and I'm going to be doing it again, I just haven't neatened it up yet. We have these because my horses love tipping over their feed bins and throwing them around, so we get the heavy ones so they don't as much. We have the water trough. It's very easy to get these when you own a winery, not so much when you don't own a winery, so they're from our winery. And then we've got another tub there. Okay, so we go back around here. This is something that my dad made to put feed in. I've never used it because it's just too heavy to lift up all the time, and it's slightly concerning because if that falls on your head you will probably die. So we don't really need that anymore. Could probably turn it into something else. And this is where my float is. Oh my god, so sponsored. I must be pretty good. Just kidding, I'm shit. So I always just keep the float here. I use it as my tack room, my general tack room, so that's why it is always here. I spray painted K1 on here. It looks disgusting. I wish I could sand it and redo it, but it's too late now. These need to be moved to over there for when I wash the horses. I'm not really sure actually why they're there. I think Dad just needed to move them because they used to originally be down there, but they were moved to here and now I think they need to be moved to over there. So we have the steps that I used to get on, and also the same at shows. They cost like $10 from Browse and Save. We have the doormat to the tack room because otherwise it gets disgusting, and we have the messy tack room Still haven't totally sorted it out for this weekend and from last weekend, but it's looked worse. So whatever. Shameless self-promotion. We have the car, which pretty much lives its entire life on the float here. We have the new fence around the arena thingo. This arena slash yard was done as a turnout place also for the horses in winter. I also free lunch them in here. I also ride them in here when they're quite fresh. We only actually recently did this in, I think, January. We put the fence around it and it looks so much neater now. I don't know what that means. Probably what the wood is. We've got some jump standards over there, which are from Southern Sport horses owned by my trainer. We have those disgusting fake flowers, which I got to scare slash desensitize Dex, but he wasn't even slightly scared of them, so it didn't really help at all, but it makes it look pretty when there's a jump up, I guess. They're for free jumping them. Those need to go down where my other jump wings are. That's why they're like sitting there either side of the gate. We have the most disgusting portaloo ever. It doesn't flush, so I just have to get the hose out and, you know, Australia, mate. Okay, jump standard that has just never really been used because it's 80 centimeters and I've only got one. Alright, now we have the muck heap, as Americans would call it, or the manure heap, and this is cleaned only really like 3 times a year it needs to be. And then we've got the oldest, most disgusting wheelbarrow, Jericho eating again, the rug that I put on Jericho at night, the hay, we've got the feed that needs to go down to the old horses because none of my horses, except for the old ones, have gum nuts. This carpet, and I'm not quite sure why Mum decided to get it. Fashionable, you know, makes everything look organised. Just kidding, but kind of. Then everything hangs on here. The ropes and the halter graveyard. Lots of supplements and things and kind of medical things and stuffs. The horses feed. This is Easy Result. What's this? Oh, that's barley and Easy Response and Easy Result mixed together. Chaff. They have the electric fence, what are they called? Stakes in them. Or that one used to, that one still does. Those are the wires for the electric fence. Like them, like that. And let's go down and see the baby horse where my halters get hung for quick access. Baby. And Dad literally whipped this bit of the shelter, and Dad literally whipped up this hay shed thing, feed shed, in like one day pretty much. And we have the barn dog, which I got from Target for $10 because I thought it was cute. So next to the barn dog, we have my yards, which I very, very occasionally use at shows when I have both Dexter and Jerry. Jerry and Pino can be tied to the float. Sometimes Dex and Pino can be tied to the float. Dexter and Jerry cannot be tied to the float because they get attached for some reason, or Dexter does. So Dexter needs this yard. And here we have my ex bedside tables. And they are now, I don't know, just where I put everything for easy access. And it looks disgusting, but it's better than having like everything just like lying on the floor. So we've got my tenon boots, which is my like everyday work boots. We've got some nails from the farrier in case I need them for a show. They should really be in the float. This, which I did the K1 thing with. Aeroguard. A skin repair wash. This is full of vet wrap and also some like conditioner and stuff, medical conditioner for the horses. And then cool boots, obviously some like washing stuff, washing brush, this single spur for that like parody video that I did last year. Abby brought this here like as a kind of like a piss take item, but we didn't end up using it. And this shoe I found the other week at Kirkcaldy Park Horse Trials. I found it on the way to the second fence, and it's got the paint from the jump on it, and I just kind of like took it with me because it was like in the way of the jump, so I got it out of the mud. And then like bell boots and stuff that I use, more just like crap basically. And this cord goes up to a solar panel which charges the float here. You just clamp it onto the Anderson plug, and I should probably actually do that now. That charges like the float lights from up there. I think the float might be a bit far away. So here is the canvas rug that Babby Horse has, because he ruined the $300 Amigo one the other week. So now he's lost his privileges on wearing a nice rug, so now he gets to have the cheap crappy ones. And then we have 3 yards, which is really good for when friends keep their horses here. And this is what he did to my poor Amigo rug. Absolute brat. So that needs to be repaired. We have Baby Horse, who's looking so good right now. I haven't ridden him for a week because he had soft soles again to the point where it was a bit lame. And he's starting to get a winter coat, which is making me so depressed. That's like the most depressing time of year. This is his paddock. It's all temporary electric fencing right down to over there. And I want to extend it a bit more later on or soon. And then these planks and everything are all in here because they're going to be used eventually, but currently don't have enough money to put all the fences actually up. So, and we need to work out exactly what we're doing with them and all that sort of thing. But they'll also have curved edges, hopefully, the paddocks and stuff, which will look so good. Also, this, we actually plan to have a shade cloth over all of the yards, or like 2 of the yards, and then we could drive the float through it and the float wouldn't be out in the rain and weather all the time. However, that large of a shade cloth was going to cost $30,000. So we put the posts up and now we don't really know what to do because it was too expensive, unfortunately. Okay, so I've walked down from where Jerry and Pino are now. This is where I jump them without an arena. This is the field I jump them in when it is summer and it's not too wet. So yeah, they're all put up for Jerry for last week. And I painted the poles quite recently, so they're looking spiffy. And from there, down here is where Dexter's paddock is, and the old horses Charlie and Tootsie, and a pile of disgusting looking wood. So here's Tootsie and Charlie and their paddock, which is like mainly wooded, and my old float, which is also, well, converted into the feed room for down here. Feed room. And it's totally messy in there, but whatever. Hello, Charlie. This is his trick to get food. And he's got a bit of a cataract, so that's what that is. And then this is Dexter's yard. and he's looking so shiny. They're water troughs and they're automatic, thank God. And the shelter there in Dexter's yard, which he actually that's a bird call machine to scare away birds in autumn when the grapes are ready. So he actually uses that quite often, and so does Pino, so it is really worthwhile. Dexter's rug, which is way too small for him. And the shiny boy. He's looking so good. Put your dick away. Hey? So I'm just going to grab him anyway because I'm going to a show jumping day with him today and also Jerry. So I'm going to walk up. I'll show you guys the arena up the top of the hill there in a bit. So while I'm walking Dexter up, appreciate some scenic clips. Alright, so right now we're just going from this bottom sand arena to the top one. So we have just driven up from the bottom arena and the main horse area to the top arena here. So this is the dressage arena, and as you can see, it's a lot nicer than the bottom one. I harrowed it a while ago, probably over a week ago now, but it's looking good. The issue with this we've found is it gets quite hard when it hasn't been harrowed or hasn't been ridden on. So that's the problem with this surface, but it is a very good surface and it holds up really well in winter, supposedly. Not that this one has gone through a winter yet. But the thing we've found is it needs more sand. It just gets a bit hard. It's like quartz mixed with a sand, and it's from like a quarry up in the hills. So yeah, it's really nice stuff. It just needs a bit more sand, we think, in order for me to jump on it. It's a bit hard to jump on it, I think, in my opinion. So we're going to get a bit more sand mixed in, and then I can start jumping up here as well. It is a regular kind of competition arena. This is a one that you literally buy for competitions. This, I don't know, fence or whatever you want to call it. And I really like having this because I would often get into dressage arenas and just like kind of just flop because my horses were not used to being in this kind of circumstance. Like the corners, the short side seems a lot shorter because there's like no dugout path. Horses often like fall into them and then it's like and they just don't get like a really nice rhythm. So I wanted to have this instead of a regular fence. Now arenas are very, very expensive. This, all the stuff here and the base underneath cost $25,000. So yes, arenas are probably the most expensive thing to do, aside from like a really nice stable or something. The fence cost $2,000 and it was going to cost an extra $500 to get the ladders along the sides, so I just decided to do that by myself, and I'm going to get the ones from Horseland or something, because I would just like stick it on, but like what do I do for the ends, because like it's in the middle, it's not like here. I can't put like C here. I have to like, I'd have to put it in the middle and then it'd look like really stupid. So yes, this is the glorious top arena, and this was done in December and it is now April. So yes, and I really like how it's like bordering trees and stuff. The issue is like there's always leaves and twigs and stuff on it, so that is not fun, but it's also good that I have to walk the horses so far up here because they've already had a bit of a warm-up. This is the issue that I find with having trees around it as well, is like the oil from the gum trees is like that kind of orangey colour, and I don't know why that's like that. And then this is what we use for harrowing. Dad made it because Dad is like incredible human that can pretty much make anything out of anything. So this is an old gate, and this is like a super heavy piece of wood, and you can put it either here or here. If you put it here, these, I don't know what to call it, these metal bits, these like, I'm not sure what to call it, but these things dig into the ground a bit more if it's further forward. So if you want it harrowed a bit more, then you can put it there, or I usually just have it on the back. And then these are really cool because it means this side of them doesn't get trapped on these things and then doesn't just like bring them along with it. It just kind of pushes them out. And because I suck, it really helps. I really suck at harrowing and keeping it straight. So yeah, that really helps. So yeah, I just chuck the quad on and then take this up and then drag it around the arena. It doesn't really take very long. I'm just noticing that that dead branch really needs to come down. By the way, you might be hearing like gunshots, and they're just gas guns because it's the middle of vintage in Australia, and they're like guns that make the noise of guns but they don't shoot anything, so it scares birds away from eating the grapes. And that is pretty much it for the property tour. I didn't obviously do any of the vineyards or anything because I doubt my majority of horse riding followers, quite young followers, would care much about vineyards and wine. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next week.